Flying dog.
Fanboy Modeling School. Modeling School. I am the Fat Man, now in HD, and I'm here with my man,
Steve.
How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother.
Welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School, and today's special subject matter, which I am going to confront you about something.
Okay, what are you going to confront me about?
Okay, so I, throughout all these many years, although you've never said it, you've never expressed it,
Right.
except for your curmudgeonly face, the way you look at it. You know, I think I sometimes see like an eye roll from you. I am under the impression that you, Steve, real name, no gimmicks, does not like Halloween.
No, man, I love Halloween, man.
Defend yourself. You are never enthused to do Halloween stuff. You're never enthused. I'm like, yo, let's do it. It'll be so spooky. And you're like, yeah.
No, man, I love Halloween, man.
Come on, man. Who are you kidding right now?
Bro, obviously, I'm not like a 6-year-old. You know, I'm like not like dying for Halloween. I'm more of a Columbus. I'm more of a Columbus Day type of guy. You know, mass genocide. Welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. Make sure you tap in with us on the most important platform that we're broadcasting on, which is RizRadio.com, aka Riz Radio Live 365. There you can catch the replays of the show for sure, man. And again, Halloween is, here's the thing, right? I used to really enjoy Halloween when I was on drugs, taking some acid, wandering around the East Village and shit like that. But now, as a parent, a fully formed adult, I realize that Halloween is a reason for men to cross-dress, right? And for women to dress like whores. And it's a reason for little kids to go full tilt, right? Now, I do show respect to the quote-unquote spirits in the ethereal plane. I feel like, why tempt any demonic presences? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm that guy.
I actually used to tempt them all the time. I used to really be into that whole kind of scene. And since I've become more of a Christian, more serious about it, read the Bible more, stuff like that, I am totally in agreement with you. I realize that I'm like, I tempt the fates too much. I'm basically like, Beelzebub, come out and play. And I don't need it. And that's the best spiritual armor you can have, is avoiding letting the occult take over your life.
No, it's true, man.
Just think about it. When we came up, we all dated those witchy broads. There's always some witchy chick who's who's burning incense. She does charts and stuff. She's looking at the stars.
By we, do you mean you? Like,
yes. Now that I think about it, yes, I suppose, yes. These new age chicks. ET Dubs over in the chat says, love the candy and but don't care for the holiday itself. Well, I mean, if you combine those two things, that is the holiday. So
right.
Hold up says, what up, Berlin? We got Lanio in the house. She says, hi. I can just, when you read something, you can hear it in your head. I can hear her saying, hi.
Absolutely.
What is everybody up to? And so this was originally supposed to be a Halloween stream or Halloween theme, but I don't think there's enough Halloween subjects to do that. So we're just going to regular fanboy it right now. And if demonic things happen, they happen.
Well, here's the thing, man. We can still keep the Halloween theme. Here's my thing about Halloween, right, man? It used to be a time where I was more of a devil's night type of guy. You know what I'm saying? We go out, create some mayhem, throw some eggs at the M2 bus with those poor people heading down downtown.
Oh, I know. Frozen eggs.
Yeah, frozen eggs.
Yeah, no, I remember, coming up in the city when I was a kid. You had to get home as fast as possible at the end of a Halloween because the bullies were out and they had frozen eggs and they were targeting you.
Yeah, one night we actually, I would say a morning. This was in Halloween, and in fact, I don't want to confess to a crime here, but
those are the best stories, my man.
But we definitely caught up with a bully of mine after a rave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he was like a childhood bully, and this must have been like this motherfucker's worst morning. To be attacked by a bunch of multicolored hair people. I'm sure he thought it was Halloween.
Revenge of the Ravers, if you will.
I was like, yeah, let's get him. Hey, real quick, man. I want to talk about something as one of my first movies. Bless you.
Yeah, please do.
You do recall that the Crow movie was remade. A soft remake came out recently with the actor who played Pennywise. And
right. Yeah.
So I watched it. And I was talking to Bex and Cincy about this on Dope Dynamics one night. And because I went in with such low expectations, nothing about the movie caught me off guard. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was a hot mess. But for some reason, I watched it again, Mantis. And then I watched it a third time. And I realized something. There's no way any Crow movie could have come out and lived up to what the first one was. Because there are actually really cinematically beautifully shot moments in this movie, man. It's moody, it's eerie. There's a part that's so fucked up where he decapitates a woman. And you remember when that used to be a faux pas in movies? Like the actual showing of violence of women. Like, yes. You had to be some weird Dario Argento movie, some weird European shit. You didn't to see a woman get eviscerated. He literally chops a woman's head off, man, in this movie. And I'm like, holy shit, bro. But after watching the remake, I had to go back and see if the original Crow still stands up against the test of time. And man, it fucking does, bro. Yeah, that movie still slaps. I watched it and I was like, this is still a fucking amazing
I'm so
movie,
glad
man.
that you had to said that because I was worried that's where your other talk was going to. That
No,
you were gonna try to say that it was better than the original.
no, not at all. Like, man, I gotta tell you that movie, the original Crow, God, rest Brandon Lee, is still a classic, man. It's
Right?
still
Yeah,
a
no,
cult.
I saw it a couple of years ago. I remember still loving it. DT Dub says in the original Crow movie, didn't the actor die? Yeah, Brandon Lee, and it's very similar to what happened with what's his face on the set of Rust, where they were supposed to be using fake bullets, and there was one of the bullets. It's actually the scene. It's actually the scene. Where he's confronting the mob boss and he jumps on the table.
Yeah,
he puts his hands out and he dares them to shoot, and they all pick up guns. One of the bullets, they were all blanks except in all those guns, just one of them was a real bullet, and it tragically hit him and killed him.
Yes.
That was messed up.
In an eerie turn of events, died near the same age as his father, who of course was the legend Bruce Lee. And this was Brandon Lee's breakout movie. In fact, Brandon Lee, and watching it now as an adult, not just some weirdo kid, his acting range really comes through in this movie, man. Like,
Right.
And this movie still deals with some very effed up subject matter, man. They didn't just kill him and his friggin' girlfriend, man. They did the most. And since this is a Halloween special, man, I want to talk about some of our favorite Halloween movies, man. Like, so the Crow out of mine. I once went to go see A Nightmare Before Christmas with my mom.
Right.
When it premiered, and we went over to the theater, where you catch the rail over to like Randall's Island, over by the Queens Bridge. We went to that theater, man, and this is before, obviously, I knew what a Comic-Con or any of that shit was, man, and all these people were dressed up, and it was such a cool night, man. Nightmare Before Christmas was an absolute banger.
Oh, I watch it every year. It's absolutely the super classic. I mean, like it's basic. It's so funny. It came out in our lifetimes, but it is like one of the quintessential Halloween movies or stories, right? Like Jack Skellington has basically become the mascot of of an entire holiday, based off of a claymation movie.
Berlin's calling me out. I, for some reason, went Medea there for a second. I said Halloween. I don't know what happened there. What about you, brother? What are some of your classic Halloween movies, man?
Well, I would say I like to stick with horror. I mean, actually, last night I finally broke the seal. I kind of wait till the last minute, but like I finally broke the seal on The Search for the Great Pumpkin or whatever from Charlie Brown. And you've got to watch that every year. And I kind of I try not to do it too early, but that's always the first Halloween thing that I get into, even though I've actually been watching a lot of horror like current horror movies this month. Right. I've seen The Substance, which is an amazing movie. It's a body horror movie. What?
Okay. Is it?
if you look at like the poster, it looks like it's about aerobics and beautiful women and her mom or something. Right. And it is absolutely not that at all. So it's about a aging actress who was a movie starlet. And now that she's turning 50, no one wants to hire her. Like her beauty is fading. Right. And so while she's at a doctor's office, she's trying all these things. So she's like, should I get Botox? Should I do whatever? And some weird orderly comes up to her and he's like, have you tried The Substance? And she's like, what's that? And it's like the secret drug. And what it does is every time you take it, basically a younger version of yourself rips out of you. It comes out of your back. And it literally claws its way out, and then it has a few days to live. And it is you, but it's your younger, irresponsible version of you.
It only has a few days to live?
Yeah, but here's what it is. It then goes back into you, and then you have to be old. You have to be old. You have to be your old self for a few days. It's 7 days, so you have to switch off 7 days each.
Oh my god!
But like the whole thing is like your younger self could be totally screwing you over. Because they're like young and irresponsible and crazy. It's so funny.
Bro, I saw.
It's a great horror movie.
I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, I'm gonna check this out, man. You know what? Creeps me out about that, man. It's the perfect type of writing where you can't have what you want without there being some level of pain, man. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite horror movies to watch during Halloween is actually from your home country. No, not Haiti. The other one, France. It's a movie called High Tension. And I put it on casually one day, and that was quite possibly the worst move I've ever made. In fact, let me set the stage correctly, man. I had been up for 3 days, and we're coming down, and someone's like, hey, man, let's watch this French movie I heard about. I'm like, sure. We downloaded off the LimeWire. Put that shit on. Bro.
The feds are still looking for people who use LimeWire for all these years. Damn, that was a throwback reference, LimeWire.
Bro, yes. And I got to tell you, that movie fucked me up. It's also gave me a great gift. It's the movie I learned about evil Coldplay, aka the band known as Muse. And I will not be convinced otherwise. Muse is the evil version of Coldplay.
So on Riz Radio for our Halloween music, I've got a couple of Muse songs in there. Like they're definitely they're effed up.
I know we all hear that song Knights of Sidonia, and it's like, oh, it's so cute, it's so epic. But the song they're most known for is most certainly about someone getting stalked and murdered.
I also just recently watched Long Legs.
Oh,
and that is I have to say, like, Nicolas Cage is the evil doer. He's the murderer in it. And it's not his murders that creep you out. You will have nightmares just by the way he talks and the way he looks. They have all this weird makeup on him, and he's just this weird guy. It's like totally bizarre. But it's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
Wait, is it bees, not the bees?
Oh, no. It's not that's the Wicker Man. That's the Wicker Man. But Long Legs is a good one. But in terms of these are recent ones. But classics, every Halloween I have to watch Night of the Living Dead, the original in black and white, not colorized.
Yeah.
You've got to see it. It's here's what it is. On the surface, it's about zombies, but really it's about tensions between black and whites.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely.
It proves even in a post-apocalyptic situation that a black man greeting anyone from the window at the end of a zombie apocalypse is going to get clapped.
Absolutely. And so my favorite is that the story starts off with the white woman. She loses her brother. She's stuck in the house. And so finally, like, it's nightfall. She sees the zombies around, surrounding the house, and she sees a car coming. And so she, the lights are on for the car, and it stops in front, and she runs out, and she runs to the car. And then when she sees a black man get out of the car, I remember he gets out of the car, and then it does a close up of his face, and you see that he's a black dude, and you see she's so scared, she turns and starts running back to the zombies. He has to save her, and
as she should. Let your racism take you to the place you need to go. You know what's crazy? They made a remake of that. They've made many remakes. It's a tragic story about copyright infringement, especially when you don't own the rights to something, and that's why we have such a huge zombie.
Just a ridiculous amount of zombie content.
But they made a remake of that where there was some controversy, but I thought it was well done. Where the black guy is the last person to die. But a white woman survives, man. And it's kind of effed up, bro. I don't want to spoil it, but it still leaves you with that same sinking feeling watching the black guy die. And like the main character is effed up because he was kind of like her reprise, if I remember correctly. Like he was the awe-inspiring hope character in the movie.
Right.
And when he finally bites it, you just get left with this empty fucking feeling, kind of like when you watch another classic. Ving Rhames zombie movie. They're in a mall. Army of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one,
bro. When they fucking when that baby is born, dead, like the liberals want.
Yeah, that was effed up. That was totally effed up.
that whole shit, Mekhi Phifer fucking he played his part in that movie, man.
Oh, that movie was freaking amazing. It's just, oh man. What other movies?
Obviously the name that shall not be named. Bex is in here. The other night I got real super brave and I said Handyman's name while we were doing Dope Dynamics. Had horrible dreams that night. So I don't tempt the fates, man. In fact, I want to talk about another classic that I saw. Didn't come out during Halloween, but I still to this day stand on this, man. When the Blair Witch originally came out, and all us idiots before the interwebs thought that shit was real. I'll never forget leaving the theater and people just had that look of like, did we just watch a snuff film? Like, even if you didn't think there was a witch, you most certainly thought those two dudes killed that brown in the woods.
That was an experience, man. Here's one thing though, I will say this: unless you've never seen it before, I don't find that it holds up.
What, Blair Witch?
Like, I can't really watch it nowadays.
Oh no, you can't watch it now, man. You can't watch it now. It doesn't stand the test of time. The remake was actually a lot. Not the remake, the edition, the sequel they did recently was good, but it was all right. It was all right.
But like, are you into any of these slashers?
I love slasher films. Yeah.
All right, you got a favorite?
I would say Scream. The original Scream was one of my favorites. I think one of the most iconic slasher movie moments come from two Scream movies. Obviously, the beginning of Scream 1 is epic. And then obviously Jada Pinkett getting what she deserved in a fictional sense. that is still an epic moment. And Mekhi Phifer.
I love that was your answer. I love that you you even have it out for her in Halloween movies.
But when she stands up on that stage, and I saw it in the theater as a kid, man. When she stands up on that stage and screams, I'm like, yeah. This is fucked up. And that also dealt with some undertones of racism because people were just like, what's wrong with Shaniqua? Why is she overreacting this way?
Right. But I'm definitely gonna be ODing on horror movies over the next week or so. You know,
it's gonna be a good time. You got any plans for Halloween?
Well, I'm gonna be doing radio shit. Yeah, I assumed you would be too, but
no, my day job is where I'll be from 10 to 6, and then I'll get off and then go pick up the children, and we'll probably go do some trunk or treating and shit like that.
Right. So we're doing our church Halloween events over the weekend. But remember, on Monday, starting October 28th to Thursday, October 31st, is going to be our Riz Radio Halloween party, right? So we're having a digital event, and we're going to have all sorts of crazy shenanigans, giveaways, DJ sets. It's going to be wild. It's going to be massive, and I'm going to have to be organizing it. So every night that week, I'm going to be a very busy man.
It's going to be a good time, man. Did you say your church is throwing a Halloween event?
Yes. I hated it. Laney says I hated it, then we'll definitely hate it now.
What Blair Witch?
Yeah. So let me ask you, do you find that to be oxymoron?
Ironic? Yeah, I find it to be ironic for sure, but it's not uncommon, right? There's a lot of stuff that churches celebrate.
Well, hold on. So here's what I'm saying. It's not like we're doing Halloween worship or anything like that, right? So what it is that our town does a ragamuffin parade, which means anyone with a costume can join the parade. And so all the kids in the town are going to be going down the street in a parade. And so what we do is we do our trunk or treat event after that.
Okay.
And so and what it is, we want to create a safe place for the kids to trick or treat rather than let them just wander around and get picked up by some Satanist scumbag who's going to crucify them.
And then evangelize their poor parents that are held hostage at the event. Like, you're going to hell, right?
But I'm saying, here's what I have to say. It really depends on how you celebrate your how you celebrate Halloween, whether it's Christian or not. And so basically there is nothing wrong with kids putting on non-violent, non-demonic costumes and having some fun, some cultural festival fun.
I think the Southern Baptist Convention would take strong umbrage with what you're saying.
I'm sure, but they're a fake religion, so what do they know?
I mean, you do hell from Catholicism, which is the advent of Halloween, in my opinion. Like, Catholics love Halloween.
You think Catholicism is the epitome of Halloween?
Yeah.
And so, obviously, if you're celebrating Halloween with guts and weird rituals to pagan gods, yes, you're going to hell for that. But if you're a kid who dresses up like Chucky or something, and you're just trying to score some candy, that's just a cultural festival. It's just a cultural festival, cultural festival.
Back to the slasher topic, man. Obviously, Halloween, Halloween the movie is a classic. I am in a small minority, but a strong contingency of people who really enjoy the Rob Zombie interpretation of the Halloween movies. I enjoy part 1 and 2, so I'll be watching those, man. And I'll be watching them the way God intended you to watch movies, on my DVD player, which I just broke out of the fucking boxes, and I'm gonna watch and enjoy those movies. Have you ever watched the Rob Zombie Halloween?
I'm not sure if I've seen that one.
Oh man,
what was the title of it? Was that just Halloween? Was that plain Halloween?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one. I saw Halloween H2O.
Oh yeah, that shit was trash.
There's a lot. Here's what I'm saying with these slasher movies. There's a lot of trashy ones that they get. The longer they go, they get really bad, right?
Bro, I will admit the last 2 Halloween movies from the original franchise are actually good. They're watchable. Like they're there's a part, how we always joke about, like, well, if Michael Myers came to the hood, we would jump him. Well, in one of these movies, they put that shit to the test. Michael Myers.
What is Jason Takes Manhattan, right?
No. I'm talking about Halloween. Michael Myers in one of the last 2 canon Halloween movies gets jumped by a bunch of townspeople, and they are working Michael Myers until they aren't. until Michael Myers goes full Michael Myers. And it's not like 4 people. It's like 8 people with bats and 2x4s. And he wrecks these fools after a while, man. Now, Jason will always, in his racist move where he knocks the brother's head off, the brother with the Jerry curl.
Honestly, I thought you were talking about that at first, because that in Jason Takes Manhattan, he goes up against a black boxer, and the black boxer, I love it. He's on the roof and he's just freaking wailing on her, and it's the longest beatdown scene you've ever seen in your life. And finally, he's completely winded. Any human who would take that beating would be dead 10 times over, right? They would be pushed on the ground. Right. Jason just stands up and looks at him, goes, one uppercut, knocks the dude's head.
Bro, I'm not even sure it was an uppercut. I think it was a straight cross, and he just like knocks his head. Yeah, I agree with Berlin. Rob Zombie is definitely a more aggressive Michael Myers movie. I didn't like his other movies, man, with the family and all that shit. But
right. What is it called? I forget. The Damned, or I don't remember. But it was not so great.
Not so great. We would love to hear from the audience. What Halloween movies will you all be listening to, watching this season? And what are you doing for Halloween?
Yeah, what are you recommending? And so, I also check out a bunch of ones like I love The Babadook. I love The Witch.
Yeah, The Witch is.
Have you seen The Witch?
Yeah, I won't watch it again though. Will not watch that shit again.
That one freaks me out. But I make sure to just what it is. It's so funny is that when somebody asks you, they're like, what's your favorite horror movie? And even though I regularly watch a ton of horror movies, I can't think of all the horror movies I watch. I should have been able to list 200 right now.
I remember one year you did for Halloween on Rogue Planet, you did a complete breakdown of the best horror movies on what's that app that everyone had for a while where they were watching B horror films and shit. They always what was it? It's like a
Tubi?
No, not Tubi. No, Tubi's of Satan. Tubi's of
Tubi's on some other stuff, man.
If anything's ever going to show a public snuff film, it's going to be on Tubi. Bro.
Yeah, Tubi is bizarre. Do you remember all the different streamers at first? There was Quibi, Tubi.
There was a bunch of them. I'm trying to think of what this slasher app was. You always see them pop up on Facebook.
Damn it! I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But they show B-level horror films and indie stuff. Man, some of the stuff is cool, but you did a whole breakdown.
Right, it was really good.
It was good, man. It was a good time. What's going on? What's got you?
It's gonna kill me not to. Shudder.
Shudder.
I had to look it up. I'm sorry, I had to look that up. Shudder. Yeah,
it finally found you.
Yeah. So you know what Shudder has done, and I actually hate this. So you know how Hulu appears on Disney Plus now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they put the shows that are on Hulu
Yeah.
on Disney Plus. It doesn't make any sense. Even stuff that is not Disney related. You know what I mean? The crazy stuff like horror or just really adult stuff. Like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was on Disney Plus. All of a sudden, I'm like,
family,
what are you thinking?
Family oriented stuff.
Yeah, Shudder has done the same thing on another app. I forgot what it was. I think it might be Paramount Plus. But Shudder has appeared, their content has been appearing there. And so it's less important that you have the app. And I don't know what they get out of that. I assume the bigger app pays them.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's some bizarre thing. But anyway, we need to move on with this stream. In the chat, if you guys are interested in just letting us know what your traditions for Halloween or horror movies, please let us know. But I want to switch over the conversation over to my man Blade, topic that we talk about all the time. And so I don't know if you've heard, but there have been Marvel has released that they 3 new dates for movies, none of which are Blade.
Yeah, I have the actual deadline article, and what comes as no surprise, Marvel Studios' Blade won't be coming out November 7th, 2025, which was the release date. Rather, Disney is opening 20th Century Studios' Predator Badlands, which I'm excited for. The reboot of the famed Wesley Snipes movie was first announced at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019 with 2-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali starring. Production and development on Blade hit unavoidable delays with a global pandemic and dual industry strikes. The project saw 2 directors exit. First, Basami Tariq, who was eyeing a fall 2022 start. Then Jan What's-His-Face. Mia Goth is set to play supervillain Lilith, which I think is a great idea, and the Vampire Slayer movie. She told Deadline Natalie Sitek at the world premiere of her A24 movie Maxine that in regards to Blade delays, Marvel really care. They do. They want to make a great movie. That's the sense that I got from them, and that feels good. So that's it, man.
I mean, obviously she's under contract with them, so she can't talk shit. Right. But also in Hollywood, that's kind of the game, right? You don't talk smack. You every time. Here's how you keep working in Hollywood. Somebody's a total piece of garbage. You walk off the set, someone's like, "What was it like to work with him?" And you go, "He's amazing. He's a genius. I love him.
Yeah.
I'm going to make him godfather to my kids." It's all lies. It's all like everything in Hollywood. It's a web of lies, right? So she can't tell us the truth of what's going on in there. She says they want to make a great movie. What do you think is holding them back from being able to make a Blade movie? Here's what I'm saying. It's kind of crazy that even in Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine, they were able to have a Blade segment,
right? Which
is probably better than anything Marvel would have created. Right, but why can't they continue Blade or reboot Blade? What do you think is going on there?
So I'll go with the obvious speculation, which is let me start low and then we'll work our way up. Obvious speculation, and what I believe is that there was going to be a bunch of quote unquote nonsensical woke shit in there, and they were going to borrow from a storyline from the comics where they introduced Blade's daughter and kind of have a passing of the torch. Which I think, if that's true. And the only reason I don't think it's true is there would be no reason to bring Mahershala Ali in, right? Then you just send that off with Wesley Snipes, have him hand off the torch to his daughter. I do think there were elements they were trying to introduce that no one was vastly interested in Blade. I think that it was poor script writing. Mahershala Ali probably wasn't bought completely in. He came to them famously and wanted to make this movie, and that's what I think some of the delays are. Also, this is Kevin Feige's MCU, right? This is before Deadpool came in. And even though they had, proof with Logan, I don't think Disney really understood how popular a character Blade was and how simple it is to make. You say you're going to have Lilith as the main villain. It has to be rated R, right? It has to be dark. It has to be darker toned. And I do think there were some creative differences where they were trying to make Blade like in an Avengers campy type movie. The fact that they were even going to cross him over with the freaking Black Knight bugs me out.
That is totally, I absolutely agree that like they already have a list of characters in the MCU right now that would belong in the Midnight Suns. I don't think that the Black Knight belongs in there. Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, Man Thing, all of them, Elsa Bloodstone, all of them should be in the Midnight Suns. why would the Black Knight be in Midnight Suns? That is just
Yeah.
I like, I don't have words for it, but it's actually funny. YouTuber X, our most hated person on YouTube, said something that I can only construe as racist. And so she said that the reason they're having trouble with Blade, she said it in her live stream that was today, that the reason they're having trouble with it is that Blade is a character who can't stand on his own. And in order to have a movie, he would need to team up with other people. And that's why she believes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He had he had a trilogy of very successful movies. You know what I'm saying? It's insane, right?
Bro,
it's an insane take.
And let me see if I can take this back. The loudest applause at that San Diego Comic-Con was when Mahershala Ali came out and they just revealed the name of the movie he was going to be starring in. The movie that arguably started this whole comic book movie movement.
Yes.
Millions of dollars. And we're talking about 50 million. I mean, it made so much money back in the day. Comparatively now, it would be like a $500 million grossing. I am convinced that woman is legally retarded. And I mean that in the most protective sense of the word. Like, yes. There is a diagnosis there, bro.
No, I agree with you. I do think there's something neurologically wrong with her. Because she has some crazy takes. She has some absolutely absurd things. I think I told you that like for weeks before Alien Romulus came out, she was laughing at it and she was like, "Yeah, right. Like anyone's interested in that." And she's just so out of it, man. Her takes are just like, it's deranged. It's absolutely deranged. And at first I was like, well, is this some sort of racist statement that she's making about Blade? You know what? I think she might be too white to understand black characters.
That could very well be true. Finish your point.
but at the end of the day, I think that I cannot understand, unless there's like some sort of white supremacist conspiracy, I cannot think of a reason that they cannot give us a Blade movie. Now, okay, actually, let me pull back on that. I actually can think of one thing, and I think that it's overthinking it. Now, if you notice the last phase of Marvel movies, they have overthought simple concepts.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Black Widow, it was all right? Mm-hmm. Yo, later on, I went to, and I've said this before, I saw the Netflix movie Kate. And I said, Kate should have been Black Widow. It's a simple movie. An assassin woman is paid to assassinate someone, and while she's on the case, she gets poisoned by another assassin, and it's radioactive poison, and they're like, you have 2 days to live. And she's like, well, everyone who works for this guy, all of his crime bosses, are dead. And she just goes through murdering these guys, and there's just a cool action sequence every time. I'm like, that should have been Black Widow. That's as simple as it gets. But for some reason, let's throw in a family. Let's throw in comedy. Let's throw in a sister that cries all the damn time. You know, the new Black Widow cries so damn much. Her appearance in Black Widow ruined any hope of anyone taking her seriously going forward.
Right.
Why would they do this? And so they're like, let's have the Eternals. They can replace the X-Men, right? What? Like, on the long list of teams that are the second stringers to the X-Men, the Eternals aren't even touching them. Like, you know what I mean? They're like a millionth on the list.
Bro, and this is the problem, man. This is the problem. I do think they overcomplicated it, man. And hopefully, at this point, I've told you, man, I hope they scrap it. I would be much happier with them giving Blade a send-off than them trying to work it into the franchise and make it. But I just got to go back to Grace Randolph's point, man. And then I got to ask a question. Why do you still listen to her? All right. And any day now, Pedro Pascal is going to denounce The Mandalorian. No, that didn't happen.
Right after he's in the movie that he's making with it, right? Like,
credibility shot.
I told you.
Like, credibility shot, man. Grace doesn't know what she's talking about. Blade 100% can stand on his own, man, and he doesn't need cameos. In fact, I think that a Blade movie, like you said, could be so simple and an easy way to introduce him into the MCU, but it should have never been Mahershala Ali, man. I'm not saying it had to be Wesley Snipes, but it should be an actor young enough to carry the franchise, and it should be a situation where street level demonic stuff is going on, and then that's how that element gets introduced to the MCU. Fuck, for God's sake, you could have introduced him during the Werewolf by Night saga. Blade 100% could have been like one of
those hitmen, right? One of those stalkers or whatever.
He couldn't get sunned up by what's her face, young Bloodstone.
Elsa Bloodstone.
And they actually have a weird dynamic in the comics. Like they were in a comic with each other, and they have some back and forth that I love. And he's like, "Oh, so you kill demons?" She's like, "Yeah, you kill vampires." And it reminded me of the Josh Whedon days, where like vampires are considered the lowliest form, man,
the lowest of the demons. They want planetary level threats only now after Endgame, says Pokey. And that, that if that's true, that sounds like something that's going on, but like, how often can that happen? Comic books are based around the concept of just bringing down criminals. I yearn for the days that Spider-Man just beats up a pickpocket. You know what I mean? The con man who stole your grandmother's fortune. I want Spider-Man to go kick his ass and then bring back the money to your grandma.
It's true, man. But at the same time, man, I'm glad the movie's delayed. And I know you're probably surprised to hear that. I'd rather it be delayed and completely shelved than get some fucking bullshit, man. I would not recover. That would be the thing that got me off the train with the MCU, is if they release some subpar Blade movie, because that's the franchise that means something to me. And I wouldn't go out kicking and screaming either. I would just be like, all right, they're on a different path, and there's no need for me to follow this shit anymore.
If they didn't come out with that thing where Blade, you remember the original script that everyone's harking about, and they're like, Blade was the fourth string character in his own movie. Three women were ahead of him and more important getting developed. He was a side character. He has to look after a little girl like Dracula's child or something. It's ridiculous. And so if that had come out, you're right, I would have walked away from the MCU. I'm on the verge of it, and I think you understand. You see that like. I love it that for years, I'm going to just say I'm right now. I just think it's like you and my sister and Sheldon were always like, Mantis, you're going to go see it. You're going to go see this, that, and the other thing every time. And slowly over time, I'm seeing less things. I have Disney Plus and I have free time, and I won't even watch Agatha, right?
No. Once again, you're misquoting what I said. I said, you're going to watch The Eternals, and you wound up watching it. That is what I'm on the record of saying.
I will give him this. I not only watched it, I watched it opening day.
See, that part I never knew. I never knew.
You know what's funny? That day will live in infamy because I went to a morning, like it was like an 11 a.m. show down at White Plains, and I got out. And when I got out, I saw all these text messages or all these missed calls from Clint. This was in Spoon, and I called him back, and that was when he told me Spoon was done. You're fired. As I was walking to the train from the Eternals, and so that day will live in infamy of my life. It was like a very important day of my life.
I'm not laughing at your pain. It all makes sense.
It's all right. I moved on. I have other jobs. I live to fight another day. But you know what I'm saying? That day is so funny, and like I wonder sometimes I think I was like, if I didn't go see the Eternals, maybe that would have never happened. That's why I won't see Agatha all along. If I say I'm not going to watch something, God damn it, I need to not watch it.
It's a shame, man, because I mean, you have the freedom not to watch it, man. I'm not telling you need to watch it. I'm saying you should. You might have a good time. I've been enjoying it. Funny thing is, going to see Venom. Just a slight pivot here. Bought the tickets for my son. I'm gonna go see Venom next Tuesday at exactly 1:03 p.m. Strange start time. As you know, my middle son is a huge Venom fan, and this is actually the first time that I'm taking him to a movie. So we're gonna go check that out. And now this is how this goes back to Blade. If you would have told me when they premiered the San Diego Comic-Con that people would be going to see a Venom movie, the third Venom movie before we got Blade,
before we got a single Blade movie. That's totally insane. I agree. And by the way, I am gonna go see Venom: The Last Dance. You know why? In the off chance that the rumors that it's connected to the next Spider-Man are true.
Yeah,
Now, obviously,
I got you.
Shaolin pointed out to me that I was like, "What about the Mordo thing? That actor is clearly Mordo." And then it was Shaolin who was like, "Roy, they probably don't even know who Mordo is when they casted that actor. It probably has absolutely nothing to do with anything."
Actually, there's the speculation broke. Not even speculation. That character, if you're not up on the King in Black story, then I don't want to ruin it. But he's a pretty pivotal character if it's who I think he is in the comics, and it's a great part of the story, man, in the comics when you find out. So I'm not excited. I'm excited to go see it with my son. Hopefully he won't spaz out and we have to leave the movie theater or something like that. But I'm really looking forward to spending that time with him, man. Now I am prepared for them to completely Sony this shit up and ruin that
yeah.
I'm prepared for it. If they don't, I will be pleasantly surprised.
So here's what I'm gonna say. Here's the hope that you can hang on to, because if the rumors are true, then you'll probably like this. So the idea is that Null is this supposedly the leak. Null is at the end of the movie, and Venom doesn't even have a scene with him.
Okay.
He's just introduced. And that really he's introduced, and then it's going to carry on in Spider-Man, and then eventually Null will also be one of the many villains that are showing up in Secret Wars. Now, this would be amazing if it happened. I already see your face.
Did I not make myself clear last week that this drivel you keep trying to peddle about multiple world-ending arc villains being crammed into one movie is a bad idea? But go ahead, I continue. Why don't I go have sex with a hooker and protect it?
Here's the thing: they have for years said when they make Secret Wars, because I've been hinting this for a long time, that they intend to have at least 60 heroes. And so basically I have a feeling that like all the villains like appearances are going to be just like them fighting. Like there's going to be it's going to be like the Endgame final battle where you can only see glimpses of shit and you never see actual something finished. That's a little thing. But
so they're going to steal Venom's major boss and give him to the guy who in the comic book did nothing against this guy, man.
Yo, dude, but do you not see how the movies work? They don't care about the comic book. They will give a character's villain to someone else who's more popular. Tony Stark stole Ultron. You know what I'm saying? And like, look, Tony Stark stole Doom. Like that's the crazy thing. That is the most insane thing.
They've done something wrong. Does that mean that it should be right that they keep doing it?
No, it's not right. I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying. Remember, you can basically predict someone's behavior from what they've been doing, right? And so Feige doesn't care. Like, Feige he basically is looking at Venom's toys, and he's like, "Who's that guy with the sword?" Like his name is Null. He's like, he should be a Spider-Man villain. And so he steals him.
I mean, if they want to do something to impress me, man, they would have had to done it retroactively, where one of Null's most badass moments is literally when he first appears in the comics, or no, his origin in Marvel, in the Marvel comics, is beheading a Celestial. Now, if you want to give me that scene where Null's in the void, curdled up like a little gray baby, and the Celestials come in blasting out planets from their hand, and he's like, they stole my void from me, and he decapitates one after he makes the all black sword. Fine. But then you're gonna have to convince me, after showing me this cosmic level threat, that the nigga who swings around on artificial webs is somehow gonna deal with this shit.
They love their Spider-Man, and they're gonna give him whoever they want.
Your fault, all you Spider-Man fans, because secretly you're in love with this idea. You're like, ooh, more web slinging shenanigans.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm fine with. Here's what it is. It at least is a lateral move to take Null away from Venom and give him to Spider-Man. I mean, they're like cousins, so like in terms of like comic book properties, so I'm fine with that. But it would be crazy if they took Null and like, let's give him to Iron Man. Right?
I'd be okay with that. Over, like, I'm trying to understand.
Over Spider-Man?
If Null was an Avengers level like event, yes, I'd be okay with that, bro. But I'm not okay with him being crammed into a Spider-Man 4. And what is it? He gonna beat him with the Care Bear stare? How does this go down?
Well, you got to buy a ticket to find out.
Yeah, that's exactly what Feige said at the board meeting. He's like, they're gonna have to buy a ticket to find out. They're gonna have
That dude, man.
But we'll see, man. I'm going to see the movie on Tuesday. Obviously, I'm happy that it landed on a Tuesday because then I'll be doing Fanboy. We'll be doing Fanboy that same day, so I can come and talk about it. Hopefully, you'll be seeing it that same day because I'm gonna talk about it regardless. If you've seen it,
you're seeing it the 29th?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
But early critic reviews, because it already did I guess release somewhere in the world. I don't know. I was watching some shit today, and some people were saying it's really good. It's a good movie. And you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think I'm gonna have a good time no matter what. At this point, I don't expect anything coming from Venom.
Right.
I expect this to be a shameful, idiotic adventure. I expect more from the Avengers or Spider-Man, but I expect nothing from Venom. So
no, I don't expect. He's like an uncle. What up, Rico? He's like an uncle that comes around every 10 years or so.
Oh, where's Rico?
Rico came and he said, "What
happened?
What? Huh? Oh, on YouTube."
Oh, okay. I do not see him.
So you got a funny Tyron Magnus video. I know you noticed that I sent you a bunch of cop videos, and I thought that could be like
we're definitely talking about the cops. We're talking about the hot cops in a minute. But right now we're in our nerd zone, so I want to continue with our nerd zone stuff. And this is Halloween adjacent, what we're about to get into. And have you heard about anything about this whole what's this chick's name? Cynthia Erivo?
Great actress. I know there's some controversy going around with her and the Oz movie she's in. What's that shit called? Wicked.
Yeah, Wicked. And so as a matter of fact, let's just play a quick video from my man Tyrone. Okay.
And while we're waiting for that, you can listen to the smooth sounds of my baritone voice. Oh, never mind.
There will be no baritone. There will be no baritone. Do you understand me? He's trying to seduce our women
and take our jobs.
Take our jobs. By the way, have you thought? I think we have not discussed this at all. You realize that election night is a fanboy modeling school night, right?
I had not realized that. That's interesting. What do you want to do?
I want to stream all night until we have a winner.
I'm not doing that. That is depressing.
Why?
Because I gotta go to work the next day, and sometimes that shit isn't declared until like 5 a.m. the next day. And I think this is gonna be a messy affair. I'll most certainly start it off with you, but like, it's gonna be a messy affair, bro.
We'll figure something out, but it should be an interesting night. But let's see what Tyrone Magnus have to say about this whole situation.
Sites. So the Wicked actress is angry at fans.
Okay, so let's take a look at what we see right here. And so, guys, if everyone can tune in to like look at our screen right now, what we have are the 3 variations of everything that went down. To the far left is the image of the Broadway play. Right, the musical.
Right.
This is an iconic image. I've seen it on trains, buses, everywhere since I was a child growing up in New York. It's all over the place. That image is, canonically the image of Wicked, one of the most successful Broadway shows ever. Right. And so then I remember, and I remember very well. A couple weeks ago, I think it was Pop Crave. Their Twitter, entertainment news site. They said Hollywood studio produces faithful rendition of the famous Wicked poster, and I see that, and that's the one in the middle, right? So that shows Cynthia Eriva, and whispering in her ear is Ariana Grande. And the first thing I said when I saw it, I said, that doesn't look like the original poster. Right? Because you see the differences between image 1 and image 2. Right? And so then a fan, just an actual fan, this isn't a troll, this isn't a white supremacist, this is just some kid on the internet, probably a gay kid, no offense to anyone, but kid is like, let me use Photoshop, and he's like, let me fix it. And you know what's funny? When he said fixing it, I fix posters all the time. The Endgame poster I digitally altered to put their the Endgame poster had everyone with their masks off, and I actually put their masks and helmets back on them. Right. So I said I fixed it. When they did Suicide Squad 2, they changed the lettering for Suicide Squad, and I remember digitally, just for fun, for no time, I put the comic book font back in there.
Right.
And I actually tweeted at James Gunn. I said, I fixed your poster. Because I was so offended that he changed the way the lettering is. So this is how most fans are who know how to use Photoshop. But if you look at the third image, they even photoshopped a little bit of Ariana Grande, but ultimately they made it way more similar to the original image.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so they're like, look, I was able to successfully make the poster look more like, and actually they do a good job. Look at the shadow from her hat. Yeah. It's not a bad poster.
No, not at all. So what okay, I assume somehow this is going to parlay into racism and covering her natural African features. I assume that's where this is going.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How did you guess?
I'm just an expert. I'm an expert at this point, bro. I'm an expert.
Okay, so let's see when you.
Another day, another controversy. That rhyme ain't to play at the game. Bar! Because fans of Wicked changed the poster of the movie to more reflect what the play poster looked like. And she apparently was very enraged and angry over that.
Oh boy.
So let's take a look at this article here. Another day, another reason for outrage on the internet. This time, Cynthia Erivo, the actress playing Elphaba in the film adaptation of Wicked, is allegedly
How could he not
mad.
What is wrong?
At a fan edit.
Can't pronounce it.
And that it covered her face. The original film poster is an homage to the Broadway poster, which showcased Elphaba and Ariana Grande as Glinda. I saw several fans talking about how they wished the poster was even more like the Broadway version, where Elphaba, or Elphaba, however you're going to pronounce that, has her face partially covered by the hand. Apparently, a fan took the initiative to replicate the original poster, and now Cynthia is claiming that is degrading and somehow unpersons her.
It unpersons.
By the way, while I was looking this up,
wait,
saw
pause
several pictures of who this person really.
I'm gonna need everyone to help my old ass out right now. You're gonna have to bring your boy up to speed, man. I've heard a lot of terms since 2019 to 2024. What does it mean exactly for you to be unpersoned? And that is a real fucking question, man.
I agree. That's a new term for me as well. The way people use it, I assume that like it's it's anytime you don't give into their bullshit, you've unpersoned them. But what they're trying to say is the offense is that you're making me not a person. You're making me less than a human. And so, however, they'll say this for everything. So if you don't accept their gender ideology, then you've unpersoned them. You treat them less than a human. If you don't accept their whatever, their legal status to be in this country, after they border cross.
Right.
And and basically you can be accused nowadays of anything of unpersoning or basically it's dehumanizing. It's an uneducated way of saying you're dehumanizing somebody.
Okay. Is this a real word? Like,
No, it's one of the, it's one of the left's new made up words. As I said, famous words from Dave Chappelle. No, I'm not going to debate you because I know you trans people like to make up words just to win arguments.
So, okay, I looked up I looked it up on Google, and it was pretty much exactly what you said. Unpersoned means to be treated as if a person does not exist or to be completely ignored and removed from recognition or consideration. This is usually done for political or ideological reasons. The term unperson can be used to describe a public figure, especially in a totalitarian country, who is not recognized or mentioned by the government or news media. Who is not recognized by the government or the news media. So then, in a
Western, I'll give you an example. I'll give you two examples. In Saudi Arabia, they claim they have no homosexuals, and when people call them on this, they're like, "No, there's no. We don't have homosexuals here. There's not. It's not a thing." And they just pretend they don't exist. Okay. And then, but in China, for instance, they claim they don't have Muslims, and they put them in concentration camps, and they're working them to death. But they will also claim that they're like, "Oh, none of our people are Muslims. Muslims are dirty." And so, but however, we know for a fact that they do have a Muslim population. They've always had one,
right?
And so, it's like that the news media doesn't acknowledge these people.
And this happens in places like China and Saudi Arabia, so
where the government controls everything.
What example in America?
This is great. I love your train of thought. We're teaching these youngins to think critically, because you're right. So at what point is any group of people that complain a lot ever not talked about by the media or the government? Right. And one might argue they talk about them too much.
And they've
there's so much trans representation. If aliens were to come down and watch our television, they would think that 50 to 60% of our population is trans from the amount we talk about them.
Okay,
right.
So this term really isn't applicable in the definitional sense that it's being used.
It's leftist hysteria.
Okay.
They love to be hysterical and be like, "You're killing me. You're killing me. By not agreeing with me, you kill me. Every day you kill me. By believing that unborn babies have rights, you're killing me. By voting for somebody I don't like, you're killing me."
Wait, this part is really critical right here. The word unperson was first used in the 1940s and was used in George Orwell's 1949 novel, 1984. Okay, so there's a historic use of the word. Now, of course, this is Google, so I'd have to verify the verification. But
however, I bet you anything that it was used in Newspeak. And you know about Newspeak, right?
No, break it down.
So in 1984, one of the things is that the people who were resisting the government refused to speak in their newspeak. And what it is the government kept changing vocabularies and making strange words that don't really make sense to a normal person, to confuse and exhaust the population, the intellectual section of the population. So they'll use newspeak. And so every week you get updated with newspeak, basically the new slang, but it's government slang.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And so what's funny is that, and people like to compare Newspeak to whatever liberals are pitching nowadays. Wow. This intersectional blah, 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 yada, 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 unpersoning that's going on, because they like to use crazy words, right? They love all these words. And when you don't understand what they're talking about, then they're like, "Oh, you must be uneducated."
Well, here's the crazy thing, man. Intersectionality has a practical precedence, right? Where there is an intersection, an overlapping where ideas or political ideology or even life circumstances do meet. People have a point at an intersection where it's like, hey, we share this in common. The issue where that whole shit went left was you then took that intersection, which became the trauma or what is commonly known as victimhood, and made that the thing that binded you together. And instead of coming up with a solution based off of that, the situation itself became the solution. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, victimhood became the solution.
Yes.
And it wasn't like, hey, you and I meet at this crossroad. We have a shared experience. What can we do together to find I don't know, system that can prevent something like this from happening? It became, no, let us speak louder about our shared pain and never get to a solution. So
right, absolutely, and that is one of the issues that I take upon all of this is the victimology of it all. Is that instead of trying, it would be one thing to say you feel pain, your people are broken, you have been oppressed, and all this stuff. That's fine. However, their thing is you're not supposed to heal from it. You're supposed to constantly dwell in that state. And instead of, so, if you speak your truth out loud, you could be like, it is effed up what they did to me. However, I'm going to be strong and move on. But they don't ever want that second part to be said.
Yeah,
they want you to every day wake up and feel like a victim.
Yeah, and I don't want to like shame the experience of people and like the things, that traumatic things or horrible things that have happened to societal groups. Like, no, that is not my goal. But there is a point where, comparatively, if I look at something like the civil rights movement, it was about addressing injustices and coming up with a way to deal with those things that were unjust, right?
Right.
But anyway, I don't know how any of this shit has to do with a fucking poster of fictional character.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about this entire thing? Like I said, they're musical fans. These are not. This is MCU fans. These aren't a bunch of trolls. These aren't a bunch of incels who are plotting the death of some starlet or whatever. These are some sensitive, nice, good meaning, well-meaning.
They're one of them. They're what? Just say it. They are of you. They are.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And they're just you watch this. You watch this.
Is who they look like in real life. People that look like this tend to be off, just so you know. So, no eye contact, back away slowly, and just move on about your business.
Yeah, that's him talking about
it's
the
fan
look
edit to reflect the Broadway poster and in no way seems intentionally.
Actually, let me rewind that real quick, because what did he mean by that? Do you have any theories? He said people who look like this.
What did he mean by? Wait, play it here and make sure I respond correctly.
Just so you know. So, no eye contact, back away slowly, and just move on about your business. Pictures of who this person really is, who they look like in real life. People that look like this tend to be off, just so you know. So,
wait, okay, you got
no eye contact, back away slowly.
Oh yeah,
and just move on about your business.
Because what is he saying? What does he mean? Like, look like what? Look like what exactly, bro?
I saw several pictures of who this person really is, who they look like in real life. People that look like this tend to be off, just so you know. So, no eye contact, back away slowly.
The actor.
Move on about your business. It's a fan edit to reflect the Broadway poster and in no way seems.
Yeah, so here's what it is. I assume that he means by, here's what it is. She looks angry. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? She looks angry. Is that what he's referring to?
Okay. I see. I see. The first picture that came up. Yeah, okay. She's a beautiful woman. That cannot be taken away from her.
Right.
She has a very striking look about her in some pictures that you see. Where like she's obviously at like the Met Gala or something like that. Yeah, I could see how you could draw some conclusions about the way she's.
This is so funny. I was literally with my sister talking about this the other day, and she was talking about her too. And I straight up said, I don't like the bald black chick look.
Oh, and, you went there.
Well, I don't. I like my women with hair.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it can be any hair, but I don't know. Like I want to be the bald one in the relationship. I don't want another bald. And but here's what I'm saying. Recently, I feel like there's more and more bald, particularly black women on the scene, and I don't know what that's about. Is that?
No, that's not a new occurrence. All right, so there's multiple things that have to do with this berry tick, right? there are some sisters who would rather shave their head bald than wear wigs or European-esque, weaves and shit of that nature. And
I'll say this: I am against like wigs that like white person wigs, like to wear fake straight hair. Don't fucking do that. There's so many things you can do with nappy hair.
Then there's the political statement, which is similar to what I just said. And then there are some women who just don't grow hair in a way that they feel, comfortable with, and they shave their head. I think we're talking about the political statement of shaving hair, and this is not, for me, not just synonymous, with black women.
Right.
When I've come across in my youth women who have shaved their head, it always reminds me of that chick from that movie Empire Records, right? Where it was done in a moment of trauma or perceived trauma, which are two entirely different things. There's genuine trauma and then there's perceived trauma. And now I got to listen to Ani DeFranco with you, right?
Right. Thank you. And, by the way, I know I said black women bald. I don't think I like him bald either.
But I thought he was addressing the person who made the article or who made the edit, right? That's what I thought he was addressing.
No, he's talking about this actress.
I want to go back to her, man, for a second. So if you just look up an image, some of the images that are out there of her, like I said, man, there are a couple of pictures that are clearly at what's like a Met Gala type of situation. I think what Tyron is talking about. Also, she was in that horrible movie Harriet, by the way, which completely bastardized an epic tale from our history.
Oh, but, yes, I remember that.
But when you look her up, yeah, I think he's talking about her eccentric look in totality. Right? Like
and like I said, I'm going to say this, and once again, this is what Fanboy Modeling School is for. I think she looks angry. Is it the baldness? I don't know, but she, without the makeup, I might prefer her green. It's more friendly green. Good evening, Shaolin. Welcome in.
What up, Shaolin? I think she's a beautiful woman, but again, I can send you a picture right now where
Bex just said my ears perked up. Y'all talking about black women's hair? We are.
Yeah, we are.
We're talking about Cynthia Erivo from Wicked, this actress right here. And so Tyrone Magnus made a comment that he said, if you look at the actress, outside of her makeup, she looks like an angry person who is someone you want to avoid. And so we're talking, and then obviously we're talking about, is he referencing her baldness? Is her baldness that makes it? But would you agree that just based on image, and we shouldn't do this, just one image, but based on one image, you're walking down the street, you see that chick standing there.
Yeah.
You think she'll be friendly to you?
Yeah. Okay. So this is where you and I are going to have a different experience, right? I have come from circles and have lived in circles where this is not an uncommon thing. A bald woman is not, like, especially in my sector of the community, is not a thing. But again, there are criterias, right? There's the bald political statement. There's the bald, I will not wear European wigs or anything of those nature. Looking at her and her, her being bald, she's still a very stunning, striking woman. It's the other pictures, like her with the rose petals on her freaking her suit jacket and the long, like the nails. Like there's a picture of her with very long, accentuated nails that are multicolored. I think that's what he's referencing. I think he's talking about her general sense of fashion and how bizarre it can be. I don't think he was taking a shot at her being bald. Now, let me clarify something just so I can make sure I clarify it. If I had a problem with bald-headed bitches, I would have no fucking problem defending my point up here, whether they be black, white, or whatever. So I don't want you guys to think that for a second I'm going on some political grandstand thing. I understand what Mandis is saying. The fact of the matter is, though, I don't think that's what this motherfucker is saying, right? I don't think that this motherfucker is talking about her baldness, and I don't even give a fuck about the shit you're saying, man, just because I don't have a problem with that either, man. The The fact of the matter is, there was a time in the 90s, if you had a bald head, you were on some gangster shit. You were on some you were on some anti-societal shit, man. So there's truth to every bit of stereotype.
You know what it is? That's exactly what you're saying. Anti-societal stuff. When I see the bald head on a woman, I assume she's some sort of activist, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I certainly don't want to donate. So I would avoid that person. I would probably avoid that person.
Yo, you know what the crazy part is about this whole situation, man, is that I just remembered something, man. I knew a sister once from the East Village, and I think you knew her too, man. And she was one of the first girls I had ever met that had a bald head, like straight shaved. This was a voluntary thing. And I remember her breaking it down, the political statement that she was making. And this is before terms like beauty culture and all that shit existed. And she literally shaved her head because she was a punk rocker. And for her, that went with the anti-establishment view that she had to have long hair. And yes, she was a black woman. She was light skinned, but she was a black woman. She was a black woman, man. This shit that he's talking about here lets you know how far this conversation has gone. He's literally representing, he's talking about the type of person that you just described, an activist, and then it's no longer something that people want to be associated with, man. There was a time when the Sister Soldier was welcome in every conversation, right? You would just love to hear these women talk about their political ideology. I'm 100% with Mantis. Now, if a woman has a bald head and she starts talking that new age fucking activist bullshit, I'm like, oh, I'm dialing out. I'm like, there's no substance here, bro.
Yeah, there's no substance.
You're describing right now. I'm not with you, bro. Wait, don't play the video yet. I just gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Okay. Well, welcome in, crew. Welcome in. Pokey was just saying, just waiting for Dr. Doom and Jesus crossover so we can get the Lucifer and the MC version of God and maybe a new Constantine. I would love to see all of it, actually. And he also says, Pokey says, no more Superman helping old ladies cross the street. And I'm for those types of movies. Shaolin Iceboxer, if you're there, if you're listening, brother, are you going to go watch the new Venom? You know, Steve has tickets. I'm gonna get tickets. I'm gonna go see. I've convinced myself to see it because off the mere fact that it could possibly tie into Spider-Man, the next Spider-Man. I want to have seen it. I want to be there.
Beck says, but what about it? Talking about black women's hair, and then she goes on to say, now why would he do that, knowing the stereotype that black women have? She has strong features, yes, and yeah, her fashion plays on that. I love the bald baddies. Yeah, bald baddies are a thing. Bex, I'm going to say something that you're probably not going to like, though, right? I believe that there's a distinct difference between a bald baddie and a bald psychopath. And I think that Jada Pinkett has accurately represented exactly that point. There's a difference between a bald baddie and a bald bat case. And the bald bat cases that I'm referring to can often be found in independent music shops, right? Frequenting Petco, you know, engaging you in conversations you don't
said it. He said it when the Petco chicks.
You find yourself in Whole Foods and this bald motherfucker's got an opinion on everything you're buying.
Yo, I'm having a flashback right now, bro. The other day when I was at Whole Foods, I could tell the cashier was feeling the Mantis.
Oh, okay.
Black chick, really tall, clearly an activist.
I love that it's a dirty word.
Well, I flirted back, but like, basically, have you seen these Kamala you won't get laid if you don't vote for Kamala Harris videos.
Oh yeah.
Where the guy's like, I'm 6'5" and I make six figures.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
And like, are you voting? He's like, no, I'm not gonna vote. And all the women are like, F you.
They pop their bubbles. Yeah.
Like, ridiculous. Shaolin says, haha, man, look, I haven't seen the first two, but yo, Shaolin, Venom movies are so simple. You don't need to see the first two. It's not like you're gonna be lost. Eddie Brock is Venom. Boom, you're good.
Go back to the story with the young lady in Whole Foods. What happened there, man? We want to know.
I was checking out. I was buying sushi. I bought some sushi and I left. And we were just flirting back and forth. And I was like, I still got it. Manta still has it.
You're lucky I don't have that shit on the sound pad with the gay buying sushi and Whole Foods. The whole shit is suspect. You're probably a fucking activist. Maybe you're the bald psycho I'm talking about, bro.
I am the bald psycho that you're talking about because, like, for the record, I didn't go into Whole Foods on my own volition. I was taken there against my will, and I was deprived a meal. And I was like, as long as I'm here, I'm gonna go grab some food. So I grabbed sushi. But I'm saying a woman like that, I would not take the number of.
Right.
Because like I know she's probably filled with a lot of issues, a lot of crazy stuff, and a lot of activism, right?
Bex, I gotta turn your words on you for a second, just for a second, not to attack you, but why
to attack your entire culture and all women everywhere.
Why did you use the term strong features, Bex? Why did you use the term strong features? I find that to be very problematic. Why did you use that term in public?
I have a theory, but I want to hear what her answer is.
What did you mean, Bex? If you're still here, if you wouldn't mind quantifying for us, why does this Nubian goddess get described as having strong features? Let's play Tyron while we're waiting for Bex.
Yeah, Tyron's down to say.
Actually demanding, but the actress still had a meltdown over it, saying, "The original poster is an illustration. I'm a real-life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera at you, the viewer." Just the way this is worded.
Yeah, no, you
can see the melodramatic. It's going way too far here.
Yes, you see, I agree with him. Am I right? The way she's saying, she's taking it so freaking personal, like so crazy personal.
Beck says, well, how should I say it? No, I'm asking you to clarify what it means that she has strong features.
Well, this is the problem with no offense, Bex, I love you, weakness. So weakness is that like people will often not say what they mean. And me and you are considered animals. We're like Neanderthals because we simply say what something is. And if somebody's just like, yo, what do you mean by strong features? I mean, she looks like a lesbian, bro. That's what Mantis would say. That's my answer would be. And so clearly, Bex, you absolutely, and I'm not trying to hate on you, Bex. I love you, but like you know what Steve is asking. To just be real and say it. Fanboy Modeling School is a safe space for people to just like express themselves. And so just say it. And so like if you were to ask me, what do you mean by she has strong features? I would say she looks like a lesbian. And then I can close that book and I can move on with my life instead of here's what it is. And this is not racist. I'm real sorry. Some of my favorite people are white people. White people like to beat around the bush when it comes to their wording. They're like, yeah, Mantis, Roy, that last time that you did that, we felt the energy levels were a little high. And I'm like, yeah, I wilded out because I was drunk. Just fucking say it, dude. And so it is that they love to beat around the bush. White people, here's my observation living on white people lights. They waste so much time beating around the fucking bush. They waste so much time. They never call a spade a spade. They love to circles and circles and circles. And it's like, just say what you mean, bro. Just say it. Just fucking say it.
Yeah.
And so, Bex, you do not want to get caught up in the white curse. And the white curse is rambling and going blah 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 blah. It's like Tim Walz trying to like get a point out. He's just like, well, I sort of kind of was in the military because I kind of how it was back there, blah blah. And I'm like watching the video. What is this idiot trying to say? Just say what you mean.
Beck says, "Child, I'm gonna go shower." I'm serious. So Beck is not gonna answer the question.
Okay, so we don't need an answer. But here's what I'm saying. Here's the fanboy Wally School. We expect people to say what they mean. Okay, just let it out.
And again, I'm just trying to understand what you meant by strong features.
And I told you what I think that means, and I think she knows. I think she would agree with me actually, Beck. But she's gonna shower, so think of me, Max. Think of me.
Wow. Because without words, we communicate with our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Our poster is an homage, not an imitation, to edit my face and hide my eyes, is to erase me. Good Lord. And that is just deeply hurtful. This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen, equal to that awful AI of us fighting. Equal to people posting the question, is your P word green?
Okay, so let's stop right there. And so obviously, hold on. Here's what I'm saying. That isn't racist or that's not brutality. That's the internet. If you're playing a green character, you better believe someone's going to be like, someone plays the Hulk. Someone on Twitter is going to send them a message that says, "Is your cock green too?" That's just the internet. So if you were asking her if her pussy is green, that's childlike, idiotic buffoonery. Right?
Oh my goodness, man! This show is taking such a great turn, and I'm here for it, man. I'm definitely here for it, bro.
I'm just saying, it's not racist. It's not a thing. Them asking her if her pussy is green, that is clearly some idiot who's on the internet too long. Right. Ignore those questions, right?
Right. Let's deal with what she's saying right now, because you've been making me think about something. She is referring to her eyes being the gateway of her soul, the very vestige of who she is as an individual, and that them erasing her eyes is erasing her. But I want to play by the rules of the internet on that side of the table for a second. Notice, Mantis, they did not erase her ethnic features, though. This is what I've been contemplating this entire time. Before you played the video, I thought they were going to whitewash it, as it were. Make her lips thinner.
Right, like they did that with Ariel.
Yeah,
with her trailer with Ariel. Somebody CGI'd it to make her look white.
Yeah. I see none of that here. All I see is that they put a shadow over her eyes, which I can still make out. They accentuated the smirk a bit, but they changed nothing about her physical being.
Right. They even left big lips. They gave the red lipsticks because it's more like the poster. But ultimately, she's clearly a black woman in those images, and they didn't take any of the things that make her away. And here's what I'm saying. She's not the only one. She's not the first person to be a mysterious figure on a movie poster. There's millions of movie posters where somebody has a hood on or something, and so it's not taking anything away from her. I do like the fan edit better. It looks better. It looks like a more interesting movie to me. Yeah. Right?
It looks like an adaptation of the play that is beloved by millions of people. And in no way, shape, or form does it look like they tried to change this black woman's appearance. They made the hat black like it is in the freaking poster. They even covered up Ariana's face a bit more like it is in the poster. The only thing they didn't do, because it's hard with AI, is the thumb. They didn't open up the thumb more like it is on the poster. Right.
It's not perfect, it's some kid with Photoshop, but still, I agree with you. I like that they put less Ariana, and I bet you anything in the original, they wanted more Ariana because she's a big star, right? And they're like, make sure you see her. But like I think the second, third one is a better poster than the second one.
Yeah. So she's really hurt over this, huh? And like she's so is she giving back the money? She's stepping away from the film.
No, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. She's like, I'm so upset at this. Take your money. I'm outie. You're from me again. No, of course not. But like the question is, why in this day and age is it a time for personal, like to take everything personal, right? So is this show a long-running Broadway show adaptation prequel of Wizard of Oz that's beloved by many, or is it Cynthia Erivo's turn to bitch and complain about shit?
Cynthia, I'm speaking directly to you. You are wildly talented, right? I think that you were picked for this movie not because you're a diversity hire. I actually think that you can bring a depth to the movie, just like every actress that's played the witch. I would say that this is not an attack and is merely fan support and things people do on the internet. If we call everything attack, we will lose the ability to objectively respond to things that are attacks. Because now that everything is perceived as an attack, then it becomes has less validity. Right, Mantis? You see where I'm going with this, right?
Absolutely.
Everything, in fact, it's almost as if I'm going to blow your freaking mind here, bro. It's almost as if the real racist, said if we make it all racist, they will no longer be able to make an argument against racism. Because everything that we say is racist, the more when we inaccurately use that word, the less validity racism has.
You vandalize the word and make it less valuable. Just like this last weekend was Comic-Con, right? And coming out of like the comic book news, there's Nick Lowe, former writer of a lot of Marvel comics. Nowadays he's the editor-in-chief, right? And he chose Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, doesn't have a comic of her own. It's been canceled. It gets canceled a lot. But he wanted to kill her, so he had her killed in Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, perfect.
Right. And then at a Comic-Con, somebody got on the mic during the question time and said, "Don't you think it's misogynistic to kill Kamala Khan in someone else's comic book than her own?" And when I heard this, I was like, is this kid smoking crack? Misogyny has nothing to do with that at all. You could say disrespectful. You could say alarming. You could say not well written, not well planned. But misogyny has absolutely nothing to do with it. Right. But this idiot probably doesn't know language. He doesn't understand language. People probably just throw misogyny around left and right. And so he decided to just go for it. And so every time one of these leftist idiots uses these words incorrectly at the wrong time, it devalues them. And so you guys are devaluating your own game.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that, man. I would 100% agree with that, man. Speaking of outrage,
ooh,
I'm going to send you a clip right now.
Oh yeah.
This has to do with a very volatile topic, Mantis. So be prepared. I'm being serious. It has to do with Twitch. Now we can finish letting Tyron make his point here.
Oh, no, we can jump over it. What you got? Did you send it?
I just sent it to you right now, and this is XQC reacts to H3H3 Ethan crashing out on Hassan on stream, and yeah, this is a rough one. This is a rough one.
Oh, I can't wait for this. This actually looks good. So, is that Ethan?
Yeah, Ethan is in the main frame, and then XQC is in the top left panel there, and it's this is a rough one. So this is not for the faint of heart, right? If you have strong opinions about everything going on in Gaza and in Israel, stick around.
So yeah, this is I hate this topic. I hate when this topic comes to fanboy modeling school. It's a topic I wish we could avoid. We can't, unfortunately. In a perfect world, we could. And so I understand Twitch did a lot. Like people on Twitch were allowed and did a lot of crazy things the other day, right?
Yeah.
Will this video explain it all?
I believe it's going to give us that because I can't find the actual video anymore, but I believe it's going to give us
Yeah, let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what the Twitch world has to say.
They've all been banned. Nobody. There's not a single dissenting voice with his fucking straight up radical, anti-American, anti-Semitic, fucking pro-China, pro-Russia, pro-terrorism takes. This is fringe, psychotic shit that is not normal. And it is the only acceptable voice on Twitch. Explain that to me. How is there not one dissenting voice on that entire platform? And this has really contributed to a lot of extremism being normalized. Is because young people are on Twitch, they go to Hassan, and they think this is normal. And it's the only option. You can't even click over.
Imagine if Dan Clancy wasn't actually very public and then go on people's streams. Imagine if he did what all corporates do, which they always do, is never have a face out there, never have any sort of recognizability. Don't put a name or a face on any big title. They would get away with everything. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It would be GG. It would be GG.
Yeah, and so I love that he's saying this. And so I'll tell you the evolution of this situation.
Okay.
For those who don't know, Ethan Klein is a YouTuber / Twitch. Once he was popular on YouTube, and then he went over to Twitch, and where he was really making his real bread and butter. And it's called the
H3
H3 whatever. I don't know why it's called that. It's really him and his wife, who is way too good looking for him. Hanging out. They hang out. They seem like they're hippies. They're wealthy Jews. And they're hanging out, and they normally talk super liberal. They used to be, at any rate, very liberal. And They were good friends with Hassan Piker. I think you all know Hassan Piker. He is another Twitch YouTuber who he's hyper liberal. He's almost I think he's so radical that he's dangerous, in my opinion. And they were good friends. They were good. They were boys to the end. They were thick and thin. Everything was good. I think they used to have like a weekly podcast similar to this, where you'd get together with your boy and just hang. And that all came crashing down after last year, October 7th. After that hit, and so let me tell you, Hassan Piker is of Turkish descent, and he's a very lax Muslim. Right. And his buddy and the fellow liberal Ethan Klein is Israeli. He's Jewish, but he has some ties, and I think he was raised at some point in Israel. And after that happened, it started this schism where they would fight during their streams. Their fans would attack each other, go crazy on each other.
Yeah,
and that's the one where Ethan was like, your fans are anti-Semitic. I need to leave this. We can't do the stream anymore. And so it was the death of that joint thing. And by the way, I like to point this out. I want to point this out. These guys, good friends, supposedly, stream all the time.
Right.
Broke up over some bullshit, right? There was, the Den of Nerds, and there was Star Wars Theory, and they used to do a weekly stream together, and they eventually had a fight and a falling out, and they left. And you know what remains? Fanboy Modeling School.
And we've had some blow-ups on here, man. The Den of Nerds and Star Wars Theory, Nerd Theory, I never caught the episode where they had to fight. I did see the farewell episode, and the dude from Den of Nerds said that his schedule had changed in life with the baby and everything like that. So I didn't know that was a thing until you brought it up.
There are other YouTubers who have clips of it in their videos, and I've seen those. I wasn't present for that stream, but there is this one time where they have this really awkward fight.
Okay.
On screen, they're both trying not to blow up, but they're clearly very annoyed with one another, and everyone's saying this is what broke the thing. But so can you describe for our audience what happened with this whole thing? Because Twitch had some sort of
they had a panel. They had a
panel of like.
If you just, I know not your favorite character and not your favorite topic, but if you just click on the video I just sent you with Destiny's face, I think it gives us a quick brief shot of the panel. They had some people of Arabic or Islamic descent on there, and they were doing the thing that you kids love to do, where they were rating if someone's for or against their plight, is the shorthand version of it. And Ethan responded to this on X with a video saying that this was just anti-Semitism, like clear and day. Clear and day in front of everyone. And it was, it's interesting to me, right? Because in this vast world of podcasting, we all kind of make a silent agreement once we come on air that at some point you're going to have to defend your position. You're going to have to, right? And when you do a podcast with a friend, it's going to get heated. Mantis and I have vastly different views on a few different topics, but what's more important to me is that we share some views in common. Intersectionality, right? The difference between us and you psychopaths, though, is that our intersection leads us to a place of healing and compromise.
What we have is beautiful. What you have is disgusting and monstrous. You need to repent immediately. Although it sounds like I'm joking, I'm actually serious.
I know.
Because what the problem is that people think. Let's talk about the unrepentant political person, right? They're a political party before they're a Christian.
Yep.
Right? They allow their political party to drag them around and do all these things. An example of the cultism of a political party is all these ads about you're never going to get laid unless you vote for Kamala. And it's like this threat that it's like, as a Democrat, we will cut you off from sexuality. You're not going to get laid unless you follow our party line, which is it's an absolutely deranged thought process, but they do it. And so people are living up to these things, and they allow these things that govern them to rip them apart rather than take them together.
Well, and it goes both sides, right? Famously, one of the most conservative in regards to Christianity. I'm not talking about social conservatism. Like, he is a steadfast, true Christian, in my opinion. I don't know the man's heart, but I've had no evidence to call him anything otherwise. A man by the name of James White came under attack one day because he shared the panel with a Muslim, and in their exchange, he allowed the Muslim to speak in front of a group of Christians, and James White has spoken at his mosque multiple times in their exchanges, right? Then some conservative sociopaths said, we can't believe you allowed this to happen. They did not make a biblical retort to the situation. They appealed to American conservatism as a way to rebuke him, which is why their argument fell flat, and James White sunned them all by simply saying, you must be confused about the dynamic of this. America does not make God subservient to it. America needs to be subservient to God.
So I want to remind you guys, I have probably said it a million times, Jesus was not only the heir to David's lineage, but he was also the Son of God. However, when he had a problem with people, he did not use that to rebuke them. He used scripture to rebuke them. Exactly. And so what it is that that's the reason, the importance of scripture is that you have it written clear as day. So when someone is going off the rails, you use that to rebuke them. There's no other thing to use to rebuke somebody.
No, Martin Luther, not Martin Luther the King, as some of you incorrectly say.
The white guy, the monk.
He famously said to the Catholics, I will not be swayed unless it is by the holy reproving of scripture.
Yes.
Like,
sola scriptura. Sola scriptura. But
back to
we take
liberals. So just hit play. That's the panel, by the way, and they have their little chart.
Gee, I wonder where they're gonna put Hassan.
It's insane to me. Do you know? Have you seen the full VOD of this? I watched it last night. Do you know who the first person they pull up is?
No.
It's Hassan, that they say is like, oh yeah, Arab.
They put him in Arab, right? Yeah, because he's a
Turk who ruled over the Arabs.
Have you ever tried to reach out to any mainstream press figures to actually get them to talk about this kind of stuff?
Buddy, it's Ethan Klein from my basement.
What's up, Ethan?
Beautiful Friday evening. My kids just went to sleep, and I opened Reddit to browse my community, who I love so well. And at the top of the subreddit is this very lovely clip entitled
I love how he's
Just a Casual
secretly
Panel
really
provided by
annoyed.
Twitch at their con, broadcasted on their official channel. What is it? Well, it's a panel hosted by Frogan and 4 of her friends,
Kroger's
in which they have a
the
tier list where they
series.
rate people where good is Arab and bottom is loves Sabra. Sabra is a very popular hummus brand. I know in Israel, it's pretty much in everybody's refrigerator, and it's kosher. They're an American company, but they've been the subject of the pro-Palestine boycott. I mean, it's kind of just Arab good, Jew bad. I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing this any other way. And what's crazy is that I've been suspecting that Twitch has an anti-Semitism problem. Obviously, it started with Hassan platforming Houthi terrorists and showing unfettered terrorist propaganda on his channel. But now they've unbanned Sneeko.
Down with the Yahud! Down with the Yahud!
And they've just unbanned Fresh and Fit. This week.
Wait, I have to laugh at that. I have to take a minute to laugh. Sneeko is the original idiot. I love that. He's the original idiot. But that was a funny clip, right?
That was because you don't expect it, bro. And by the way, Sneeko's been unbanned. Berlin, I hope you're listening. Sneeko's been unbanned on YouTube. He actually made an appeal. He's like, hey, the things that you banned me for aren't even considered bannable things anymore by your own definition. And YouTube sent him a letter saying it's true. And he's been reinstated. If I
wow, that's crazy, because you know what I was about to say was, you know, unlike the real world where we can use the Bible to rebuke people,
Right.
For years and years, particularly YouTube has abused their own thing, and there's plenty of videos of people being like, I got demonetized, yet I violated nothing, and they will just not get back to you. That's how they get back. You know, for instance, Riz Radio, one of our blog posts, the link to our blog post was on Facebook. Taken down. And then I put in an appeal, and I said this is absolutely wrong. This is not. It was accused of being spam.
Right.
And I was like, this is not spam. What is your problem? And you know what? They have never gotten back to me.
Yeah, because there's no one
They leave you in this dungeon, this black place.
Yeah, their AI bot is as antiquated as Google Hangouts. Like the bot probably didn't understand what you were saying. It's like, does not compute.
You know what it is? I think that it thought, because of the title, that it was conspiracy theory stuff, which I'd rather them just say that.
Yeah.
But what it was is that, you know, Liam Payne died, and the title of the blog was Liam Payne's death. Let's discuss all the unanswered questions.
Right.
And I think that they thought it was conspiracy, yet they're not man enough to just say that.
And yet somehow
we think you're a conspiracy theorist. They instead said it's spam.
And yet they can't figure out how to get the QAnon grannies off Facebook, and they banned your shit.
Because we're the easy targets. That's the thing. We're the easy targets. The grannies are hard, man. The grannies are all over the place. They're slippery, man. They're like a venom symbiote, just sliding all over the place, all lubed up. That's good, happy for him, and fresh and fit. Yeah. I was kind of the guy that advocate for banning, even if I disagree. Get your money, man. Yes, I agree. I can think of many times I've wanted someone actually banned.
Yeah. The only thing I've ever wanted banned was the Red Table Talk, but that wasn't because of anything being espoused on there. It was just because it was bad. That bald-headed bitch with her strong features.
Her strong lesbian feature.
All right, okay.
So let's see what's up.
Prolific Jew-hating creators on the entire internet. And these are the two they've targeted to bring.
It is insane. I have no idea, bro. It's wild to me.
Taking this all in account, here's an officially sanctioned event at TwitchCon. Let's take a look at it and see what exactly is Twitch endorsing here.
Okay. It's the perfect transition to our first person, Hassan.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder where they're going to put Hassan. I'm going to guess they're going to put him in Arab.
Hassan is Turkish. He's a brother.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah, I think he'd be on Arab coded.
I mean, I would put him in Arab. To be
I would put him also in Arab.
Which is great. That's the good one. That's the one you want.
Austin. Let's go down the line.
He's Arab.
Arab.
He's Arab.
Arab.
He's
Arab.
Lebanese. Like,
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Austin.
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
I told you guys a lot.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
I've never heard of it.
Ooh, Jewish.
Where's the? You guys are missing a category for Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke in my.
Zionist, I think, is also like another brand of hummus or something. It has nothing to do with Jews, though.
Stand up.
Very very proud of you, Denim, bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And may I point out here, Chevron.
It's also so cringe because they don't even hate Jews well. They're like, it's like the whitest brand of Arab and the whitest brand
pause
of
for 1 second, bro.
Like if I was a modern Nazi, or if
Who is the chick? Who is the main chick speaking? Because you seem to know who she is. Who is she?
Frogan is I'm going to use all the wrong words right now. So she is a Muslim who wears the head thingy. And she is known. She's notorious for actually getting banned off of YouTube multiple times for having anti-American stances. At one point, she got banned for wishing death on American troops that were in the Middle East. And so she's like an American Muslim fundamentalist who's like, she's fun and cool. She does it. However, she hates America and she hates yeah, she's one of them. She's one of these.
Yeah, I won't make you belabor this point, man. I just wanted to, because you and I were talking privately. This is the panel, right? That all the shit went down, and Ethan is like piping hot right now. So here's the point. Why did
it's
I make
sponsored by Chevron? Are you kidding me? Bro, I'd be fucking furious. Yo, imagine if there was an anti-Christian Twitch thing sponsored by Chevron. Being like, we're gonna talk shit, and they'll be like, the fat mantis, and then they put me into some fucking low category where I'm a piece of shit, right? He's the Crusader or some shit. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I won't make you, because I know this topic upsets you, man. But
I like to be upset.
I did, however, find, because we're in the loosey goosey portion of this the show. I did, however, find the clip of the beef between Star Wars Theory and Den of Nerds. So whatever's going on in the Middle East, that comes second to Nerdum. Because
let's watch a little more of this.
Okay. So he's peaked.
If I was like an
right?
ex-Nazi looking at the modern neo-Nazi movement, I would lose my mind, right? Somebody gave me the meme of the Hispanic Nazi grabbing the guy's hand on Twitter. It was a good ass meme, right? If I was like an ancient, if I was an older Arab, if I was a modern Arab, and I'm looking at like the whitest kid Arabs in the United States that hate you, they don't even have good anti-Semitism. They don't even know like the best like anti-Semitic hits. It's just like this cringy, like corporate safe, like child, like, oh God, it's so cringe.
We're very proud of you, Denim, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And may I point out here, Chevron, Capcom, and Samsung. Do you know?
Wait, are their logos actually listed right? Oh, shit. I didn't even realize it.
Street Fighter hates the Jews.
Oh, Street Fighter hates the Jews.
Do you know that there is an Arab to Jew tier list happening in front of your sponsor? And you guys were so kind to sitting right in front of them. Chevron, Samsung, and Capcom. By the way, bit of irony. I love that they're boycotting hummus and sitting in front of a Chevron logo. Like, yeah, I wonder which one's doing more damage. Okay, we know Twitch is like place favorites with everything. If they were really serious about anti-Semitism, Sneeko and Fresh and Fit would never have been brought back to the platform. It's just a no-brainer, right? But they were welcomed back with open arms. And I mean, their whole platform essentially for the past year has just been anti-Semitism. I'm not even kidding. And that's literally all they talk about. I don't know what to say. You know, I've been put in this position where like, I watch this clip and I'm like, what the fuck am I actually watching? This is mad.
Bro, again, like I said, and I'll say it a million times. I said this actually, God, I'll reiterate this. Bro, if you're white, oh my God, what a great world to be in. You just don't think about anything related to your race. Happening? It's just so easy and nice. I just go outside and I'm white. I'm an individual. People treat me like it. I don't have to worry about shit. I love it.
Whoa. I just want to remind you guys that the thoughts of our correspondents here in the videos do not reflect the feelings of the Fat Mantis or Steve or Riz Radio for that matter.
Wait, let me go you one further in legalese, right? These aren't even correspondents. We are listening to a clip, and the thoughts being articulated by Destiny, Ethan, or anyone on this panel, or their thoughts alone. We are simply, as I said famously that other night, reporting on what's being reported. We're merely reporting on that.
Yeah, on Frogan, DT Dubs points out she recently got banned on Twitch for saying U.S. soldiers deserve PTSD. Oh, damn, that is cringe. So cringe, man.
Yeah. That's why I said we should jump ship on this one. Destiny
Okay,
has.
we're gonna jump ship on this one, but let me tell you guys, anti-Semitism is whack. And if you think that's all right, read your Bible again. Read your Bible. Remember, they are created in the image of God, just as we are, and therefore they are deserving of our love, and we need to support them. A horrible terrorist act was perpetrated on their people. It's probably their equivalent of 9/11. And people try to wash it away and make it seem like it's like nothing. They're like, oh, this is nothing. Oh, wow, 700 people died and 200 were taken prisoner. That is not nothing. That is that is crazy. And so since then, we've had this satanic-led, I don't even know how to explain it, but this movement against, broiling over of anti-Semitism. I personally, as a Fat Mantis, I'm not speaking for the channel, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not about it. I'm disgusted by it. So,
Steve's official stance on it is we live in an evil, corrupt world, and I'm never surprised by evil or corruption in this world. In fact, I'm often surprised that major governments are surprised by evil and corruption. When they
I don't think they're surprised. I don't think they pretend to be surprised.
Yeah, they're like, egad. But now,
wait a minute, a terrorist attack? You don't say. I did not see that one coming.
Oh man. All right, so let's move on to two nerds fighting, right? At what everyone wants to talk about. I know Berlin's gonna fucking start daydreaming now. Berlin says, "Nah, I want to have Steve on to talk about them boys, man."
So I've seen this cringe ass video, and so here's the first thing I want to say before Steve, I love you. You do get under my nerves all the time, absolutely all the time. But here's the thing: I have never had a live stream where we're actually annoyed at each other.
No. I mean,
and I don't see why someone would do that, though. I don't get it. I don't get that.
I would rather have the fight, right? And I would rather have the blow up. But here's the thing, man. I'm always gonna have your back. You're saying I'll call out 800 motherfuckers, but that doesn't mean just because I'm arguing with you and I don't agree with you doesn't mean that we're done as friends, man. We'll have the argument,
right? And you know what I think is actually healthy about us is that you're right. Even on stream, we will have arguments on stream, but we leave it at we have the argument, it's done, and then we move on. And these guys, if you notice, for a little while in the beginning of the clip, they're going to be very passive aggressive.
Yeah, you know what? And
it's unhealthy.
As long as neither of us ever violates the peace treaty by kicking one of the other ones from the stream or dropping him down into a muted position where he can't defend his point, we should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I assume I've never done that.
You definitely did.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
We did.
Wait on. I remember I've kicked you before, but then immediately brought you back in and doing it as a joke.
I don't know. I know we were both drunk, and I don't know what I said that got underneath your skin, but you're like, that's it out of you, and you dropped me from the StreamYard thing.
Didn't they bring you right back? No?
No, you stared at me for like 5 minutes. You're like, are you done? Are you done? Yeah, eventually I came back to our show.
5 minutes is basically immediately. DT Dub says, Steve, one question, man. Are them boys God's people?
Ooh, so here's a very interesting biblical question. And I would say I'll let someone smarter than myself answer the question. I'll let the Apostle Paul answer that because he deals exactly with that topic in the book of Romans. And the symbolism used is that of a tree where a branch is grafted in. The tree being Israel, the branch grafted in being us, Goyim, Gentiles. And we are to respond to being grafted in a certain way in reverence of God, and never to look at them boys, as you say, as less than, right? But to remember how easily we were grafted in, we could be grafted out. But we are supposed to have a response to iniquity and sin and other things. So go read Romans and you'll get the answer to your question.
And so from the book of Mantis, So pretty much like this. It's like football, right? And so what it is that God's word was entrusted to certain players, and for a while they've been playing the field and doing well, getting the ball forward, and at a certain point they needed to switch out players. And you know,
would not have said that on the internet.
They need to switch out players because the players currently just weren't handling it. Let me put it like that. Okay, you were not. Your forward progression was kind of failing at that point, and so they brought in the Goyim, and the Goyim are now running it forward. And we'll always remember our first starters. You know, our number one guys, our QB1.
Right.
But you know, basically what it is like, you know, the Jews are the running back. But we're not going to be running the ball. We're going to be throwing the ball. So
Berlin says, what about Galatians? Berlin, always remember, as I know you know, that books in the Bible are written to a target audience and they're dealing with a specific situation. So the passages you're referring to in Galatians were dealing with specific things in which were being pressed upon new believers who were Christians and who were not Jewish, right? Who were not Israelites. And Paul said, and was reminding them where their salvation lies in Christ, not in rituals.
Right. Bax would like to point out, she's like, I've been hella annoyed with Steve on the air.
I don't know why. I don't know. Here's the thing I don't understand about you folks, man. What were you expecting, right? Are you looking for someone to agree with you when you're wrong, or would you rather have a friend tell you, you're wrong?
Yeah, and that's the problem. This is why these two guys broke up and all that stuff. It's that, like, here's what it is: a good partner on a stream will tell you you're fucking wrong. It will get in your face, and at the end of the day, you have to be cool with that.
Yeah,
because that's just how it is. You'll get them next time.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. Like, and I've been wrong on streams before. I famously ended one of Bex's streams, right? Because I was like, I was not having a good time anymore. And I'm like, man, fuck this shit. And I was drinking and I was in my feelings. But here's the difference between me and Mantis and a lot of other people, right? My frustration will reach its peak high when logic completely leaves the room. That's when you usually see me get annoyed. I'm like, all right, so we're not using logic anymore, right? We're talking about feelings, and I lose it, man. The red wine was going through me, and once the logic leaves the room, I'm just like, I don't have a footing in this conversation anymore. I'm an emotive guy, but I don't know how to deal in the abstract, emotional, theoretical, right? Let's talk about what's actually happening.
Right.
Berlin says, man, we got to talk, man. Always interested in this stuff.
Yeah.
I find that I will be wrong all the time. Mantis will be wrong, but the immutable truth of scripture is usually where we shine. My favorite people to talk to are, spiritualists, because I'm like, wait, where are you pulling all this from? Go ahead.
But let's see what went wrong in the relationship with these nerds. Probably because they don't have Christ. But
focuses on the sequels. That's literally verbatim what you said. You said everything they do focuses on the sequels, and I said, "What? We're talking about Kenobi.
Okay,
We're talking about that.
I don't mean literally everything. As most
why'd
of my
you say
content.
it?
That changed my freaking banner to Obi-Wan Kenobi. It just seems like you're really focusing on little things here
I'm
to
just
try and
focusing
create
on-
something.
No.
You know that I don't literally mean every goddamn thing they're focusing on. Obviously, the title of the stream that I made is about Kenobi. So clearly it's not everything, but it feels like the centric focus of Disney is about creating the sequel trilogy to be Star Wars. So I don't know why you're trying to just really pinpoint on the semantics of what I'm saying instead of actually understanding that, what I'm talking about, you understand the generalization of what I'm trying to.
This is a pet peeve of mine, right? Mantis, I will always correct you on what you've actually said, right? Even if I'm wrong in my correction, I'm going to respond to what you said. Right. I might even have you repeat it. I'll even ask the question multiple different ways to make sure that I'm
that's really annoying, by the way.
To make sure that I'm hearing you correctly, because I feel like you should judge a person by what they're actually saying if you're going to retort them, versus the theoretical, well, you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean, motherfucker. That's why I asked you the question, because I'm trying to understand what it is you're actually saying, and do you need to rephrase it in any shape or form? Do you mean what you're saying, or do you, are you doing the woman thing where I'm supposed to guess at what you're saying?
Well, you're talking about to someone else, because I don't ever make anyone guess. I'm very clear about the fucking
No, but you understand what I'm saying. And so Star Wars Theory just did that thing. He's like, you're being very literal. Well, yeah, because you literally said this.
You literally said that. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's the one getting aggressive. He's the one getting super aggressive.
Well, as he should.
Nerds who's keeping his cool.
As he should. He's a jacked guy. He's got muscles, because now the Cro-Magnon mind has kicked in. Like, how dare this weak man, this frail man, question what I mean?
Yo, weak men, man, they're a serious problem. Serious. But let's see what's going on here.
To say that everything has been about the sequels, but I'm not literally saying, oh yeah, Kenobi is no longer happening. No, like what are you doing? What do you mean?
Well, I'm honestly a little confused, because what you just said sounds perfectly reasonable to me. Why is it confusing?
I don't feel like I need to really explain that. I don't feel like I need to say, okay, yeah, Josh, not everything. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, you understand.
Yeah, I do know what you're trying to say, and I disagree with it.
That's fine. That's okay. But you're quizzing me on exactly what I'm saying. Like, what are you saying? Everything. It's like, and that's what I'm not understanding. And now I get it. It's like you're literally taking verbatim when I say everything.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking what you're saying with your mouth, and I'm disagreeing with it.
Yeah, these guys, man. These guys. Speaking of Tim Walz, speaking of weak men, speaking of beta, this is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, this is an example of like the most pathetic argument I've ever seen.
You know what the crazy thing is? It's not even that Den of Nerds, I feel, is winning this argument. From my point of interpretation, isn't winning this argument because he's remaining calm. You can be wrong and be calm as hell. Why he's winning this argument is because he's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I allowed you to clarify what you're saying, and I still think you're wrong after your clarification.
Yeah. Which is just making Theory angrier. Theory's just getting angrier and angrier. He's boiling.
It's almost as if Den of Nerds found the long lost sea scrolls of my forebear, Steve Halakabis.
The master of the argument.
You once told me, man, and it was like a double-edged, it was a backhanded compliment. You're like, your superpower is to make people infuriated. Right? And I'm like, I didn't want to embrace it, but then I finally embraced it.
Well, and you're more powerful for it, right?
It's true. Thank you.
That is a great superpower, especially to do that in a debate, right? People like Steven, yeah. I've seen it. I've seen you tear down lesser men with your mind game.
Yeah, and look at that shit-eating grin on Den of Nerds' face. He's just like,
that's the thing. Like, it is taking two to tango. And even though, like, here's what it is: Den of Nerds is using logic to take apart Theory. However, Den of Nerds knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what buttons he's pushing. He's just like, he's smirking. He's like, I'm going to make this motherfucker explode on live.
Wait, are you insinuating that Den of Nerds somehow, in his Charles Xavier-like approach to probing Theory's mind, said that this is the guy that cried in public in regards to Luke Skywalker showing up on the show, that maybe he might have an emotional or bigger reaction than your average person while debating Star Wars? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, I think he wanted this explosion to happen, and I think he paid good money to make it happen.
Do you think Disney paid him good money to make it happen? They were like, "Today's the day where you cook them. You cook them good."
Here's what it is. I think Denim Words has something to benefit. How he gets paid, I don't know, but he did. He calculated the destruction of his partner. He was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make him self-destruct on his own life. It is evil. These white boys on the internet are evil.
This is something like we would do when we show up to the stream. Like we both silently agree, like these guys got too many fans. They got more fans than us. The only way we're gonna get their fans is by making them look crazy. And it's a long, drawn out plan.
No, I don't want to seem like we do anything evil or illegal, but I will say we've been slowly sowing the seeds of discord. And these people are tearing themselves apart. Soon we will take over because there will be no partner streams anywhere. We will be the last partner stream left because all these fuckers will have killed each other.
Oh man, you know what the crazy thing is, man? I think back to some of our arguments, and like when we finally we were headed in a very dark place, and we had like a private conversation one day where it was like a big blow up, and then the whole reconciliation process and stuff like that. And I think some people can learn from that, man. People can learn from, just as you said earlier, just say what it is you're trying to say, man. Just say what it is you're trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Just say, just be real. And if you trust the person that you're with or whatever you're communicating with,
pause.
I said the person, meaning it could be a bitch, right? But if you trust that person, essentially, you should grow better in your friendship or relationship or hoship. Rather than falling apart like these other weak men, more weak men. But I think it's about that time, isn't it?
It's about that time. I was gonna say, should we watch the video that Berlin just sent me? But then I was like, it's a video Berlin sent me.
No, is it long?
No, it's not long, but I'm like, I should, got to screen these things.
Oh, right. We're not sure Berlin's trying to get us kicked off of this thing.
Oh man. So
but we do love Berlin, as we love all of our fans here on Riz Radio. We love you all, and of course you can always find our rewinds, our retakes, and our re-episodes Monday through Thursday. That's at 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern on Riz Radio. If you're having trouble finding us, we're on RizRadio.com or the Live 365 app or wherever internet radio is found.
Yes.
Steve, you got any outro words for these people?
No, man, I think you summed it up well, man. Again, make sure you support the movement, man. Live 365, RizRadio.com. Go support. Let them know, man. Maybe one day we'll get a Discord server as we grow. Just help us stay in the position we're in, man. And check out the blogs, man. Check out the blogs. A lot of great
we got
stuff
blogs coming out every day. Steve just dropped one the other day about the fall of a certain person from No Jumper, his rise and fall. But very, very fascinating stuff. What I'm saying, we keep the music blog and interesting stuff going on our blog.
Kudos to you. I read your J. Cole article, and man, that shit was fire. Mantis came out shooting right away at the beginning, like, F the people that say J. Cole is boring. And I'm like, bro.
Because you know what it was? Like, obviously I wrote that right after we had our stream. Right. And I didn't know the world thought he was boring. I love the man. And so you were the one who put me on. You're like, yeah, people think he's boring. I said, what? You're like, those people who think he's boring. I'm like, who thinks he's boring? You're like, everyone. Like, everyone. And so I wrote that immediately after. Like, it was probably the next morning or something. But I was like, who the hell thinks J. Cole is boring? Fuckers.
Yeah. It's the same type of people that think conscious hip hop is boring. They cross-pollinate in the same places, man. But at any rate, this has been Fanboy Modeling School, RizRadio.com. That's the Riz. I'm Steve. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one. And guys, remember, not only tune into our shows, we are basically, anytime you tune in the PM, you should be able to catch me or Steve or both of us doing shenanigans. Right. Obviously, I got Top Bob Countdown on Friday at 6. We've got Phantom Modeling School every day at 6. And then, of course, we've got Steve on Thursdays and Sundays at 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., hitting you up with hip-hop and all the latest breakdowns. And, of course, on Monday, the 28th through the 31st, we're having a Halloween party. It's all shenanigans. It's all horror. And it's all fun on Riz Radio. Please check us out. Love you guys. Thank you for stopping in. Steve, always been real, brother.
Peace.
And until next time, bitches, ciao for now. Peace.